Hi, I'm Tracy L. Fisher, and this is a Reentry Point of View. It's an honor to be here today, and I have a couple of guests here. But my first guest right here is a juvenile lifer. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we'll take it from there.
My name is Jeffrey Dean. I did 42 years. I've been released from Greater Ford for 51 days to be exact.
Wow. How do you feel about that?
I feel wonderful, but I'm also challenged by the day's reality. But I came out here with a plan, and I'm hopeful.
Now, what challenged you? What's your biggest challenge out here?
Connecting, getting employment, and just finding things to do that I always wanted to do while I was in prison. And I think I found that when I stumbled upon Gateway.
Oh, man. Hi, I'm Tracy L. Fisher. Welcome to a Reentry Point of View. I'm here with the good brother. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. He's a juvenile lifer just returning. How you doing, good brother?
I'm good.
Explain to my audience who you are.
My name is Norman Bryant. I'm a juvenile lifer. I did 32 years in prison. I just been released just a little over 3 months ago. So I'm excited about these new challenges for me.
Wow, how does it feel to be home, though? Even though I know that's a crazy question, but that's what everybody asks. Trust me on that.
It's been a long time coming. It's something I prayed for so long, asking God to, grant me a second chance. So to be able to have this opportunity to come home and prove to the world, prove to myself that I can be successful out here is a major thing for me.
Hi, I'm Tracy L. Fisher. Welcome to a Reentry Point of View. I'm here with two good friends of mine, and they are juvenile lifers, just given a second chance at life. I'm excited. I wasn't a lifer, but I was raised by lifers when I was incarcerated, so I understand that. But to actually be told while you in court, life at a young age, like there's no more hope. The judge thought of you as like you was a piece of meat or something. Like regardless of whether your family in a courtroom with you or not, I'm going to take your life from you, and I'm going to make sure you never get to come home and breathe this fresh oxygen out here and see your family and loved ones again outside of these walls. How did that make you feel?
It was traumatic because when he said life, it means that my life was over and I was expendable. And that made me think. My life isn't over, but I'm gonna have to get to another dimension in order to offset this undertaking. Because when they drop you, give you the sentence of life, now you're in the hole and you're under. You can see people go home, but you're not going. But you better go somewhere. Well, for me, I went somewhere internally. I started building. And I was 17 of Camp Hill. Angry, I was frustrated, but I went in and started building. And through me having that resolution or purpose, I didn't let the sentence or the environment crush me. I think I really started shutting down. I started isolating myself. I got out of the gang because I was 17. I had about 11 homies up there. I got the Nation of Islam. But the whole purpose of me realizing that I was in a hole, what are you going to do, Jeff? If you're going to survive this and figure out a plan, you might get the best of you. I wouldn't allow it. I just kept building. Fast forwarded 42 years later, I'm at Gateway. I'm building with the brothers, man, creating a vision, a purpose for other kids, other struggling adults, people who never done any time. Gateway has the potential, man, of giving black people a voice in terms of the things that they are struggling with. We live in America. There's no way we should be struggling, being disenfranchised, not knowing what to do. This is our chance. That's how I feel about what happened 42 years ago, but how I literally maintained that I'm not going to let this get the best of me. And I survived it. Now I'm on the outside, ready to rebuild structure for other people.
Cool. How that make you feel, good brother?
For me, the concept of life, at the time when I was sentenced, I had a distorted understanding of what life meant, what the life sentence meant, because of me hearing the stories that, you know, there was two different types of life sentences for us in Pennsylvania. So, being as though I was found guilty of second degree, I thought there was a chance for me to come home one day, you know, until I came upstate. You know, I was under the impression that life for second degree was 10 years, and you'd be paroled or whatever. So when I came upstate, and I was told, and I did research or whatever, and I found out that life meant life in prison in Pennsylvania. There wasn't a difference between first and second degree murder. And so I understood then that they wanted me to die in prison, you know, but I always maintained hope that one day God will bring me out of this. So I held on to that hope, and at the same time, I knew that I had to put myself in a better position for when that time came. So even I was 17, like the brother here, when I came on state, I was 17. When I fell, I was 15. So I had to prepare myself back then for this time now. And what I did was get educated, you know, started getting my GED, you know, wanted to make my mom proud, even though I let her down, you know. I let my little sister down. You know, I left her out there when she was 12 years old. She didn't have no one to take care of her outside of my mother, whereas though I always felt that I was her protector, you know. So I wanted to make them proud of me while I was in prison, you know. So they was my backbone, and they helped me, you know, my mom, my sister, my grandmother. They were the, you know, the backbone that I held on to, the strength that I held on to, hoping that and praying and believing that one day I will come home, you know. And I never gave up hope on that. But at the same time, like I said, I had to prepare myself. So a lot of us, you know, we ask for this opportunity, but what happens when we're given it? What are we going to bring to the table once we come home? You know, so I just kept on working and doing what I needed to do to keep myself focused, not getting caught up in the jailhouse stuff, you know, not running around acting crazy. You know, I found Islam while I was there, and it became the best thing that ever happened to me, you know, and it kept me focused, it kept me motivated, you know, to learn more and to become a better person. So when I came out here, I had something to contribute to the people. When I came to have something to contribute to society, you know. So now that I'm here, 32 years later, I'm looking forward to being a part of this organization, to give back as a way of me thanking God, thanking the Lord for this blessing of allowing me to come home and allowing me not to be consumed by the darkness of being in prison for 32 years. Not allowing it to consume me, coming out of there healthy, coming out of there with my sanity, because you know, everyone here knows that yes, being in prison can destroy you mentally if you're not strong enough, you know, because you lose family members, you know, you lose loved ones, people come in and out of your life, people that you became close to in the prisons go home. So even though you're happy that they're going, you wish that you was going also, you know. So you wait for that day, am I going to have my chance? So now that our chance is here, what are we going to do? Exactly. So my motivation is to give back, you know, try to reach out to the kids out here, you know, to keep them from making the mistakes that I've made, you know, so that they don't have to go through what we went through. He did 40-something plus years. I did 30 plus years. And there's so many of us that's coming out now as far as juvenile lifers that have done decades in prison. And it's not something to be proud of. And that's the message that I try to get these kids, you know, because, you know, I have family members, younger generations who know my story. They know that I've been in prison all these years, and they're amazed by that. damn, you know, did all that time, you know, I didn't know this. You know, you understand what I'm saying? But I'm telling them, this is nothing to be proud of. I'm not proud of that. You know, I made that mistake 32 years ago. And it was, you know, it's not something I'm gonna come out here and brag about. I'm gonna come out here and tell y'all what it really is. That this is something that you don't wanna go through. You understand what I'm saying? That you don't wanna be away from your family. You know, because our family, what people don't understand that, yeah, the victim, we suffer, their family suffer, but our family suffer too. You understand what I'm saying? Our families suffer too. When we put our families by the things that we've done, we put our families through a lot. You know, and that's the message that I try to give to the younger family members. And I want to try to contribute that and just tell that type of story and help those kids who are coming up in this generation to see that this is not cool.
So let me ask you this, Jeff, because I'm gonna tell you, this means a lot to me.
Right.
You remember the story in the Bible, Quran, or anywhere when Abraham was told to go and sacrifice his son,
Right.
but he didn't know about the ram coming up the side of the mountain. That's why they say that ram in the bush. He didn't know that the Lord was going to have something for him to sacrifice other than his son. But he had to go do the act to show his loyalty and his obedience.
Right.
Right? When I was incarcerated, I didn't know I was the ram for when y'all come home.
Right.
Because I had to come home and weather the storm of the trickery, the tomfoolery, the lies, the manipulations, the spin game, all that. And that's just from brothers that was locked up with me.
Right.
I ain't even talking about society yet.
Right.
Right? But I still had to stay the course. And it was days I used to lay in my bed at home and say, well, why don't I just go get a job, work 9 to 5? I done figured it out. I know not to break the law no more. And just be okay. But then I wouldn't have met you brothers. You understand? And brothers and sisters like you that's coming home. So he was telling me then, no, you was chosen. How do you feel coming off a life sentence? Do you believe you was chosen?
I believe, like I said, by me literally going through the type of metamorphosis that I went through, that I was able to grasp that there's dimensions to every facet of today's reality. So I started like putting the dots together in my own mind. Like the brother said, he held tight to his family and his faith. Me, I went into different forms of persuasion, different schools of thought. One time I was a practicing Muslim. One time I studied philosophy. One time I studied politics. I did a lot of different things to get to where I'm at today. But the thing is, I knew when I was inside, I didn't want to be there. But what I was going to do to survive an undertaking for 42 years, even though I put myself behind the 8 ball. Okay, I'm not going to cast any stones on this and that, but I knew I needed something, so I just kept internalizing, strengthening my purpose. Go back to your question. I believe that the Creator was showing me something that if you look long enough and you're sincere, you will define your own purpose and what you should be doing. As I said, life is dimensional. You got different dimensions, different degrees in everything. So to me, I'm sitting in this chair, a volunteer member of Gateway for a divine undertaking. But it was, I went the crazy route to get to be sitting here on this platform today. I mean, crazy in the sense that I went through a lot of different mindsets to be right where I'm at. And I'm happy with myself that I understand that you say you were the Ram, I'm basically understanding that no organization doesn't travel without members. So maybe I'm the Ram sidekick.
Cool. You think? Do you believe that you was actually chosen for this mission?
I do. I just feel like so many people, like as far as juvenile lifers, it was some as we was fighting. I'll put it like this: as we was fighting this issue, because the ruling came down in 2012, and Pennsylvania and a lot of other states, they tried to drag it out, trying to fight retroactivity, because they knew that majority of us fell before 2012. So they didn't want to submit to the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling. So they tried to find a little loophole to get out of applying this new law to us. And as a result of that, them dragging it out, some people that were juvenile lifers that were up in age passed away.
Right.
People don't understand it. They passed away because Pennsylvania and other states that wanted to fight this retroactivity wanted to play games, word games, with the law. And I was fortunate enough to still be surviving. Even though it periods of times through this little fight that we had with regards to retroactivity, it was stressful days, and I lost a lot of family members during that period. And I felt like, well, if y'all wasn't playing these games, I could have been out there, to spend some last time with my grandmother, with my aunts and my uncles that passed away within that period of time that they were fighting the retroactivity. So that was a stressful period for me. And we all know that stress, when you're overly stressed, that takes its toll on your health. So I was able to survive that, alhamdulillah. You know what I mean? So for me to come out of that situation still healthy, even though I was going through a little stress period, and me to come out here now, I'm a part of this, with Gateway, you gracefully invited me to be a part of this. So, I mean, I really do feel like this is my calling, other people that's in my life that know my story, they encouraging me to get out here and tell my story with the hopes of, that my story and all of our story can help other people. I mean, and also bring awareness to juvenile lifers, because they paint the picture, meaning the district attorney's office and those who are in opposition to juvenile lifers getting a second chance, or lifers period getting a second chance. They paint the picture that all of us are vicious murderers. Like we chopped heads off and, we stabbed our victims 30, 40, 50 times, like we're the worst of the worst. And if you look at every one of our stories, a majority of our stories, and the background of our cases, it's nowhere near the picture that they paint for us.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
To justify
holding us, not giving us a second chance. There's a report where they talk about the United States is one of the countries that the United States leads the world in juvenile lifers. But they justify to the rest of the world to try to say that we are the worst of the worst. You understand what I'm saying? And by saying that, okay, we don't just give life sentences to children just to be giving it to them. You know what I mean? So the outside world, they don't know this. They just take the United States at their word. But if they look at our cases and stuff like that, they will see a lot of us are here for, we've been sentenced under the felony murder clause. 15 people on one homicide.
Right.
If you was a lookout guy, you got a life sentence. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So for me to go back to your point, your question, for me to come through all of that and still be here right now to tell this story, to bring awareness to juvenile life, I do believe I was selected.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, and then I bring it to you, Jeff. Let's say I had a time machine, and I'm in that machine. I put you in that machine, and I'll take you back to when you were 17. But you go back as who you are now, and you get to meet the 17-year-old you. What's that conversation? Just you and him in the room.
No, that's,
What's that conversation?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'll
Because
tell you
remember
one
now
thing.
you're talking to you, so
Right.
you know how hard-headed you was back then.
Yeah.
So what words you have to say to you that only you know that could have penetrated?
Wow. I was a hard-headed guy, but I also took advice at that time. So, me being 17, I was upstate actually. I was 15 when I took this, when I caught this case. I would tell myself like to stay focused, to not give up in terms of studying the law, because there was a lot of things that I learned as time, as far as the law, as time went on, that probably had I stayed on top of things back then would have been that helped me with the outcome of my case. Issues that I had that I really didn't know how to address them. As far as my case, I would have had that conversation, but at the same time, I would like to tell myself to continue to stay focused. Don't give up. One day you're going to get out. And these are some of the things I always thought to myself back then anyway. So I don't think that would have been a very difficult conversation that I would have with myself back then, because when I caught my case, I understood that only God could help me out of this situation. So I think I was a lot more mature than the average guy, the average 17-year-old at that time. Not trying to hype myself up or anything like that. And I say that totally with humility. Because I had good people in my corner. And I mean, that was already advising me anyway. From my family to, like you said, you humble lifers and stuff like that. So these are all the people that was in my corner anyway. So they were advising me along these same lines anyway. So I would just like reiterate the things that I was taught back then. So it would have been an interesting conversation.
And the reason I asked that, and I tell you after I asked him that question, Jeff,
Yes.
you can go back to when you were 17, and you're who you are now,
Right.
but you in front of the 17-year-old Jeff. What's that conversation?
Conversation is, I want to change the scenario from me being arrested. 'Cause I went through a lot, fighting people, arrested, but I like to meet. If I was able to talk to Jeffrey, who was 16, 17 on the street, charismatic, I could play the women. I had that street hardness, but I like to have been there to talk to him. So listen, Jeff, what are you gonna do, man? Your mother raised you, right? So what are you going to do? You've been disruptive from day one, elementary school. You just had this swagger about you, but it was false hype. What are you going to do? If you don't slow down, you're going to wreck yourself. And I would like to think now that if I was able to encounter him or a young guy this day and time, what are you going to do, young brother? You come from a poverty, black resource environment, a poverty-stricken environment, where education isn't what it should be because you're not paying attention, you're not listening to your mother, your grandmother. If you don't change and literally, man, find something to grasp, to hold on to that's for real, you're going basically, man, you're going to the penitentiary. And when you get there, you might not survive it. I would like to think if I was able to talk to myself back then, my head was hard as a damn brick because I was on drugs. And then I could fight. So I was just like, it was like, if you don't reach wayward children male and female. In this day and time, fast forward 42 years later, the children are super aggressive, but they don't have effective role models. The conversation, I could actually, man, do it now where I couldn't see the forest from the trees back then. I probably could have tapped into me and said, listen, man, you better slow down and get some, connect with somebody, man, at a deeper level, man, because you're going over the cliff. And it's going to be a challenge that you may not be ready for. But my rappy, he had a nervous breakdown. This is the guy, man, who thought he was slick, aggressive, just like me. He had a nervous breakdown within 18 months when we was upstate. I had already got shipped out of Campbell, was up Huntington. Because I was just like, literally, man, I had so much energy. Man, I was ready to fight somebody, I was ready to hurt somebody. Thank God I didn't. But he wound up, man, snapping, you know. And due to the grace of God and the challenges I went through, but he was like mentally off. I put his PCR in back in 2012. And I caught flack from people, man. It was like, why are you trying to save him? That's how I came up. I ain't leaving nobody behind, somebody I brought to jail with me. But going back to your question, I think I could have resonated with a 16, 17-year-old. Like, I think I could resonate with a child that's wayward now. Because all the different stages, things I learned about being dropped in a hole at 17. It would have been an interesting conversation, but I have something to give a wayward youth, young person, male or female, that didn't have that. Because I was like, my mom raised me. And to me, as good as it's the stand-up, credible job women do in raising their sons, those who are struggling in that situation by themselves, my mom could not harness me as a young Cole, literally, man, looking for answers. She didn't have them. But I think I could save some lives. Now I couldn't save no lives then.
So that's the reason I asked that question, because you touched on it. There's a lot of Nordines out there now, a lot of Jeffs and Tracy's, right? And I deal with them.
Right.
I do a lot of one-on-ones. I do behind-the-scene work. I don't do camera work. Since I've been home 5 years, I stopped 7 homicides. 7 homicides. Now that to the average, how many that's dying? I'm like, yeah, all right. That's a lot of homicides. Because that's 7 families that's not messed up, right? And it was because when I met one individual, I gave him my word that I'll be there for you if you need me, call me. And I told the other individuals the same thing. So when they started beefing, I done went to neighborhoods that I didn't even grow up in. And I went with the white flag to speak to one of the young guns. You know, you could see the gun print on his waist and what's up, Hoyt? What's going? Calm down. This is where I'm at with this. I don't want to see you die. And they like, oh, would you police? Would you this? No, never that. But then, like you said, your story gets you in. That's why the young guys was running around you, because they take it as a badge of honor that you done did all this time. So you use that to get into their club. But once you in their club, you find out who's the thinker. But here's what I learned, right? It's always a head dummy in a room full of dummies. Go after the head dummy, because I was a dummy, right? But then I became intelligent. You don't stay a dummy, right? And I had to go after them. And I get him, he gets the rest of them. Because when you got him listening, they listening. So you make your job easy if it's 50 guys, why would you go after all 50 when they only listen to one? Your work is with that one. And that one, when you do the one-on-ones, which I bring you in on, you find out the father wasn't there. The mother that had multiple men running in and out the house. He never saw no manhood that he could mimic in a positive way. Right. So now he's growing up off of rap videos, TVs, and because he can fight the best, right, and the most aggressive, he runs the crew. And they all learning how to be a man from a little boy that never even had a man in his life. So it's easy for them to go from 0 to 60 and pick up a gun, because they don't understand once you pull that trigger, once you pull that trigger,
You in another
you understand
dimension.
what I'm saying? Because in life, right, it's different frequencies, like you said.
Right.
And when you come home, right, like you did, because I've been there, you on a frequency. You on a high frequency. Your conversation, your thought pattern, your outlook on life, your perception of things. And it's rare to find someone that you can converse with that's on that frequency. Because most of the time, you're going to find yourself turning your frequency down just to cope with whomever you're sitting with and try to bring them along to where you at. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So when you dealing with these young people out here, right, you got to go down to their frequency to even bring them to yours. So when I deal with them, I talk to them, not at them, and I come with such humble respect.
Right.
And once they realize that you're giving them that respect,
Right.
right, that's when they're going to start believing in you. And that's when your real work going to start now. Because now they're going to start depending on you. Like your own son, like that 17-year-old Nordine, that 17-year-old Jeff, that 17-year-old Tracy. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So and on that note, I'm going to end it with that. I'm Tracy L. Fisher. This is a re-entry point of view, and I want to thank my viewers for tuning in.